song, which you're going to hear tomorrow. It's Greg Gotovitz. Welcome to part 10 of my world tour of Scarborough. Mrs Claypool, after her birthday, thanks you very much for the wishes. She's behind the camera. I'm going to show you some guitars. People, they've been sending suggestions on what they want. I'll get to this one in a moment. Got a lot of guitars. God, I wish I had all the guitars I ever owned, but you know, some of them got stolen, some I had to sell because I had no money, some I gave away. What an idiot. Anyway, usually they're the wrong people. So this is back in the Beatles room at Bossy and Braggy Manor. This is part 10. And what do we got here? I want to show you this. Here, I'll move this out of the way first. Amplifier-wise. Vox, 60s, mid-60s Vox. It's a transistor amp. It's a Vox Cambridge. Phenomenal tone to it. It's not on right now. It's not plugged in. And great reverb pan and great tremolo on it. And this amp here, the late, great John Long from Long & McQuaid gave me this amp about 40 years ago. I've only ever had one problem with it, ever. And this is a Trainer combo amp. I swear by Trainer amplifiers. I had a little bit of problems in Calgary with the reverb pan, but it got fixed and it sounds great. Okay, the guitars. This one here is a 73 Gretch Tennessee. Now, I bought this at a Tundra Music guitar show a number of years back. I went looking for the George Harrison one, which had sort of a painted on, this is called an F-hole. And in the 73, it's got a real F-hole. It's hollow, but what a beautiful guitar. And I remember as I was leaving the show, this guy came in with a case and it said Gretch on it. And I said, what do you got in the case? He said, a Gretch. I said, yeah, I know that. What kind? And he opened it up and I went, sold. And it didn't cost a lot of money, and it is a great guitar. And no, Randy Hutchins, you can't have it yet because I'm not dead. Anyway, next we've got this guitar came to me through Art at the Blues on Bel Air. This is a 67 Epiphone Riviera. Now this, any guys that are into the Beatles, it looks very much like a Casino, but it's not. It's a 67 Epiphone Riviera. Fabulous for playing Beatles songs, and boy does it ever look good in this room. Great guitar, great blues guitar as well. It's like a 335, except the Epiphone instead of the Gibson. This guitar I got from John Gibb. John was in the notorious then and still Me Too moment band, The Battered Wives, back in the punk era. Now John is in California because his daughter Rebecca is married to one of the Foo Fighters. And John sold me this guitar a few years back because I just love it. This is a 1966 ES125. What a great guitar. I haven't even had a chance to play this one live yet. But much like the guy Nigel Tufnell in Spinal Tap, if you could hear it, it would sustain forever. It would just sustain. You could play it and go outside and come back. It would still be sustaining. So I got to get to this one of these days. This guitar here is relatively new. I bought it when I was at Axe Music in Calgary. Hello, Brian. This is a road-worn Telecaster. Now, it looks like it's as old as I am, but it's not. They distress it. So it was made to look like this, and the neck is all like it's been, you know, done and dirt all over it and everything. But it's actually, you know, just 10 years old. But, of course, I had this wonderful sticker of Gary Martin's, who's an R&B guy in Calgary. And then pretty soon I started adding, I got Captain Underpants there. I've got an Elton John VIP sticker, which I never got to use. A Trainer logo, Anvil, of course, Crowbar, Helix, Yorkville, Reunion, Journey, and Loverboy. I think there's a bunch of other things on here. Ottawa Blues Fest. Ottawa at the Ottawa Blues Fest. All right, this is an interesting guitar. This is a prototype BC Rich. I bought this guitar at Kahlua Music when they were on Kingston Road, not far from where we're living now, many, many years ago. Probably I was still in Flood. And it was on a pedestal and there was a couple of lights on it. I'd never seen anything so beautiful. This guitar is a prototype. This guitar was made by Bernardo Rico himself, BC Rich, that guy. And most of their guitars were like vampire ones and werewolves and stuff. They were sort of heavy metal guitars. I think the only guy I ever heard that I liked that played it was Dominic Troiano. He had one of those guitars. But my friend Pete McCauley gave me this Bigsby tailpiece, which I stupidly, whatever you want to say, had it added to the guitar, thus rendering it, well, fantastic, but not in mint condition. But I was like sort of gave me that Neil Young thing when I wanted it. This guitar I got in the Dominican Republic when I was staying at Grand Laguna Beach. My friend Tim Neeb pulled out and said, would you mind changing the strings on my guitars? And I went, sure, I'd love to. And I saw this, and it's a mid-60s Hagstrom. They've reissued these now, but this is a real one. And after I did it, I played it, and he says, oh, just go ahead and keep it. So Tim Neeb, thank you very much, darling. I love this guitar. This one, a friend of mine, oh, this is something Ed Pilling got me here from Flood. Everybody knows my fixation with aliens. This is a Hard Day's Night poster with aliens on it. Yes. Whatever. Thank you, Ed. That's great. This guitar here, a friend of mine is in the antique business. It's an Epiphone Broadway. I'm not sure. It came out of a farmer's house after he died. They found it under the bed. Now, I'm not sure if that means it's old or not, but if this is an old guitar, man, is it in good shape. I mean, that's a beautiful guitar. And of course, I play all my well-known, I'm known for my jazz technique. Maybe not. So I use this guitar when it's a good guitar to sit around and play at nighttime. It's got a really nice tone to it. Here we have a Sitar, which I also can't play. But I had a friend of mine, I was producing an album for 3/4 Stone, and my friend Chris Drone is a doctor. He actually managed to restring it and play it on a couple of songs. And I've used this on a couple of Gatto albums, but I always have to get somebody in to play it because I can't. And one of these days, Mrs. Claypool bought me a book that says how to play the Sitar. One of these days, I'll open it. This is a guitar I bought downtown. I just loved it. I guess this is from the Kay family out of Chicago. Beautiful, beautiful maple. This is called an Old Craftsman. Fantastic guitar, fantastic acoustic guitar. Almost in tune. I came down this morning to have a look. This guitar had been, it also belonged to a guy whose initials were PB. I love that part of it. This guy put his own initials on the guitar. Incredible. And what else we got here? Al Runt gave me that War is Over poster. I'm wearing his socks. They're not his actual socks. I bought them. It's his brand of sock. Okay, I'm going to play you a song on this guitar. Now, this is a special guitar for me because when I was in the Dominican the first time, I went down to give away bags of strings and sticks and microphones and all stuff that the merchants in Calgary and my good friends at D'Addario Canada gave me tons of strings. And pretty soon it got out that there was this maniac gringo walking around giving away things. So I was contacted by this friend of mine, and he said there's a luthier in Puerto Plata named Seppo Valjaca, and he goes by the name of Dr. Frankenstein with an I, Franki and whatever, it's Stein. And I went to his place up in Puerto Plata. He built guitars for Ian Thomas and for Kim Mitchell. There's pictures in his workroom. And he said, he showed me this wood. He said, what kind of wood do you like? I said, well, geez, I really like that bloodwood, And we got to discussing body shapes and stuff. And 3 days later, I get a call. He says, your guitar's ready. I said, what guitar? He says, well, that guitar that you were talking about that you wanted. I made it out of that piece of wood. I said, nobody could make a guitar in 3 days. He goes, I didn't get much sleep. And he brought me this guitar, and it is just a treasure. Now, I took it to a very, very well-known guitar place in Toronto, and I showed it to them with pride, and they said, well, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. I said, well, how do you figure? He says, well, if you want to adjust the neck, you got to take the bloody pickup off. I said, oh, you mean that little hole right there? And, of course, everybody's blushing away, So I'm going to play a song. This guitar sounds just as good clean as it does distorted. I'm going to show you this is the original way I wrote Under My Hat, but I'm not going to do that song today. And I'm not going to do this one's called Curbside Society. I'm going to give it to you guys tomorrow when I finish it. Came up with this lick for the top of it today. It goes like this. Something like that. Sounds like a Steve Miller riff. Anyway, Under My Hat, this is how I wrote it. And then this chord, I don't think Gino uses. Tell me, dear brother. Maybe one you're watching. Bill Dillon, if you're watching. Greg Wired, if you're watching. You can tell me what this is. I have no idea. Was driving you mad? I'll do Under My Hat. Why not? Well, tell me, dear brother, what's driving you mad? You got the answer. I keep it under my hat. We'll get frustration. There's no motivation. No chance to get a rest. Well, you guys to take care of yourselves. Wash your hands. Stay away from people. Do the right thing, and we're going to beat this silly thing that's going on. Silly. Nothing silly about it. It's terrible. But stay safe, okay? And we'll be back again tomorrow, and thanks for watching. This has been part 10 of my world tour of Scarborough. Thanks.